Hi and welcome to the channel. So what I'm going to do today is just show you how to start up the F16 from a cold and dark scenario, but just no frills. So I'm not going to go through the whole startup process that Mags went through in his video. This is really just the no frills excuse me, what you need to get started and get playing, and hopefully it's a pretty straightforward process. It's actually simpler than the F18. I've flown the F18 now for over a year and find it's a lot simpler in many respects, certainly the no frills element. So the aircraft had departed. So I'm using the cold and dark scenario in the Persian Gulf map for this one, and I'm going to just get started now. So first thing you need to introduce is power from the EPU, so bring that to fully forward, and then the next things we do is bring this switch, which is the engine start button, back to start 2. So bring it back, sorry, wrong way, there we are. So you can see here the engines start to spool. Well, we're looking for the engine turbines to reach 20% here. And once it does, we introduce, you can use right shift and home, but I've got it bound to my throttle, which is a Warthog. And here we got the engine spooling up, you can hear that. Temperature starting to increase. As the airflow and the fuel starts to be introduced, we get a good start. So I'll just turn the comms down. Okay, so comms is down there. Okay, so one of the first things we need to do is start up the INS, but before we do that, you notice so it's got a warning on the canopy. So what we'll do now is left control C, and we'll bring the canopy down, and we'll just lock it down by clicking that. Okay, so now what we're going to do is start the systems, or bring power now that's coming up to the systems. So what I'll do here, these 6 switches here, which is all the various systems of the F16. I'm going to start up here, so the HMC, the STA, the MFDs, the UFC, GPS, and the data link. This one apparently hasn't got enough function, but it says map, but I'll switch it on anyway, because I guess that's going to come further down the line. So might as well get into the habit. So you can see the MFD displays are starting to power up now. You've got your DED, it's powering up as well. So now we're going to start the alignment process on our INS. So just bring that to norm. Then we'll come back to that once that's aligned to move that to nav. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is bring up some lights in the cockpit. So see, this is the backlights on the systems. You can see the background green, looks very pretty. And I'm also going to bring up the floodlights as well, so just for effect. There we go. So nicely lit up. So now we'll bring this is for your targeting pod, your flight control radar, and your radar altimeter, all fully forward. So I'll power those up, so you can see the FCR here starting to power up. The next thing we're going to do is you'll need your RWR and countermeasures. So this is the system here, and this is the button here to power it up. And then we can switch the RWR on here. Your missile warning receiver on, and your shafts and flares. And then we can switch the program to whatever you desire. So I've got a manual mode at the moment there. I've got green lights on the landing gear, so we know that's all they're down and locked. I'll switch on the landing lights. And we've got some other lights here, so wingtail lights and fuselage lights, but I think they aren't quite working yet. In order to test that all the warning and warning lights are working both verbally and visually, press this button here. You see all the warning lights coming out, and Bitching Betty, as I call her.
Jammer. Counter.
Doing all the verbal warnings.
Out. Block. Caution. Bingo. Soda. IFS.
There you go. Okay, so now I'm going to switch on our comms. So we switch this one to both. We've got our comms up, and it's also a VOR as well. These are all the volume buttons for all the different volumes for voice activation. So the TACAN, the ILS, any threats, missile warning, comms, etc. So that's that element. So moving on from there, I'm going to start bringing the HUD up. So this is this particular here. So just roll that with your mouse, and that comes up nicely. So we've got all the various symbology that's coming up there. And over here is our helmet mounted queuing system. So what we'll do is switch that on. So as I bring to my right, you see the symbology here on my visor. So here, obviously, it's saying no radars on it here because we're on the ground. We have our G meter, our speed, our altitude, our mode, so in this case navigation. This is our heading tape. So obviously it disappears as you go if you have it in situation with your HUD, and it appears there as well. I'm not quite sure what these numbers are at the moment, but I think something to do with the navigation to the next waypoints. Right, so there we go. So now what I'm going to do is, I think we've had sufficient time, I'll put the INS to nav. So we're now in navigation mode, so we are pretty much ready to go. So disengage the parking brake there. And I think we're just about ready to go. So activate the nose wheel steering, so that you'll see it here, which if you have a Warthog is on the right front of your joystick at the top, to the right here, just above and to the right of your trigger. There's a little button on the side which you can press with your forefinger, and that activates your nose wheel steering. So now all we need to do, oh, one thing I nearly forgot, and that is the attitude indicator, the backup one. So put that on, uncage that. So that's aligned. Right, so we're ready to go. So I'm going to throttle up. Here we go. Here we are. Check over my shoulder. And there you go. Ready to take off and go. Hope you enjoyed the video. Goodbye.